So this is my cornerback rankings for the 2025 NFL Draft. There's some elite, high-end, high potential guys in this class. I'm really excited to talk about them. There's a couple here that I quote are called my guys, guys that I pushed up over consensus, just looking at notes and kind of what I favor, which is more of kind of the longer wingspan, the taller corners mixed with that elite speed, and then also just in terms of overall corner specific skills, just instincts. That's one thing I absolutely prioritize, just being able to break on a ball. Now let's dive right into it with the two honorable mentions for this video. Now for the honorable mentions, we have Jacob Parrish out of Kansas State. We have Noel Williams out of California. For Parrish, he kind of had he's a little bit undersized for playing in an outside system. He doesn't have great change of direction ability, but he does have good mirror matching. He's able to match the receiver quite well, and he fits strong in the run game. He has a willingness to attack the run, and also is kind of a little bit of a ball hawk. Got 4 picks last year in his first very start heavy season. As for Noel Williams, excellent ball hawk. He had 7 interceptions and 8 pass breakups last year. Excels at reading the quarterback's eyes, which again is something I prioritize. Not too much, not more than instincts, but he definitely reads that well as route combinations. But he did kind of have a little bit on the lower end of testing numbers, 4.5 40, 4.25 shuttle, and a almost 7 3 cone. He does have a limited top end burst that kind of can hinder recovery if he gets beat, and also tends to garner penalties in press situations, which again, high penalty rate as a college prospect just doesn't bode well almost regardless of position because it takes you from getting off the field on third down to a new set of downs for the offense. Coming in at number 10, we have Quincy Riley out of Louisville. Short area quickness, very good hip fluidity and reaction timing. He has receiver and returner backgrounds, which bumps up his ball skill ability. And then he has some proficiency in nickel formations, which is getting slowly more prominent and more important in the NFL. He does have some inconsistent tackling technique near the line of scrimmage, which needs to kind of improve a little bit. Tackling, I'm not 100% concerned about. Still needs to be able to tackle, absolutely, but doesn't necessarily need to be an elite tackler to be a productive corner. Played through an ankle injury. There's some durability concerns there. So, and also he kind of has a tendency to jump routes a little early. You're kind of nitpicking a little bit with that. And here's kind of the first little tier break I have here. So I think it's REA Thomas as well, ahead of Quincy Riley and Parrish and Noel Williams as a prospect. He's got the length, which I really like, 32 and 3/8 arms for a nice little advantage of the catch point. Then he has really good ball skills, good body control, and above average timing. Although the main concern with Thomas is his 4.58 40. That's really slow for a corner, so that's what brings him down a little bit. And then he's got he's got all the ball skills except the one thing where like basically almost takes you out of playing on the outside. If you get out muscled, like if this guy's covering Mike Evans, like if this guy goes to New Orleans or Carolina and he has to play against Mike Evans twice a year, that's going to be a little bit of a problem because he just doesn't have the strength to compete with a 6'5" receiver. He has the length, but he doesn't have the strength. He's just going to get absolutely bullied at the catch point by a bigger, taller receiver. Number 8, Benjamin Morrison. Now, this is the most confusing prospect to me on this entire list because you look at the elite strength. He's got 17 bench press at about 193 pounds. 17 bench reps on 225 is kind of insane at a sub 200 body weight. But then again, he doesn't, that strength somehow doesn't show on film at all. He gets he gets out muscled to the catch point, and then he gets beat off the line of scrimmage just via strength. Even with some of the smaller receivers, he's just getting bullied. But he does have some good short area quickness. He's very good on the in the short yardage game. I would definitely kind of see him entering the league as a rotational corner in lesser important plays, less leverage plays, just to kind of work up his confidence a little bit. That's kind of where what I see with Morrison. And then he'll miss the occasional tackle just by taking a not so great angle that it needs a little bit of improvement. Darian Porter is one of my guys. This is another tier break. So Morrison and Thomas kind of in that little tier by themselves. Darian Porter is one of my guys. 6'3" and 33-inch arms. Jumps off the page to me. 4'3", 40, elite ball skills. Had a receiver background that led to above average tracking. I really like this guy a lot. I kind of see a little bit of Pat Surtain in him. He's a little raw as a prospect. He does need to work on that back pedal a little bit. Needs to work on his feet. He does have a lack of experience, or sorry, 1 year as a full-time starter, and needs a little bit of refinement in on run plays. He's just a little bit raw. Like I think he can cover pretty much any receiver. Like if Pittsburgh drafts him, for example, and says your matchup is Jamar Chase, you got to keep him in front of you. You got to not get beat deep. This guy is not going to get beat deep. And that's the main thing you're looking for in a cornerback nowadays. A guy who's not like a boundary corner specifically, a guy who's not going to get beat by one of those elite receivers that could potentially change the game. Like a guy who can run 4.3 and then stick his arm up at 6'3" and be able to knock the ball away on third down and set up the offense again, or set up his team's offense. So one of my guys, there needs to be more talk about Darian Porter. Again, the rawness of his technique kind of keeps him out of that top five. Number 6, Savon Ravel out of East Carolina. Again, kind of the same, a little bit of the same thing with Porter as I saw with Ravel. He does have great length, but he also combines that he also has excellent recovery speed and can impact the game on special teams as well as a gunner. But he's coming off an ACL tear and ligament tears. It makes everybody wonder, what are we getting out of you? But there were a couple stiff reps, especially when he was in press, that moves into our top five. Trey Amos out of Mississippi, 6 foot, 195 pounds with 31 and a quarter inch arms. Great numbers if you want a guy who can excel in the contested catch situations. Good footwork, awesome in run support. Doesn't have the twitch or the instincts, so that kind of keeps him out of the upper echelon of prospects. And he's an older prospect, so he's going to have a little bit of a shorter leash development wise. So the next guy we're going to talk about, maybe a little bit of a hot take. I have Jahdae Barron out of Texas at number 4. He's able to redirect routes really well. Is very disruptive coverage wise, high motor, great football IQ, good reaction ability, but he does lack the top end speed to carry a vertical route. I don't see him really succeeding too much on the outside with that. And then he's fallen for that double move quite a bit, as I saw on film. So we're looking at a guy who, if he's struggling on a double move, that means he's kind of taken away on the inside. And then if he's not able to carry a vertical route, it takes him away on the outside. So where does that kind of put him? I do think he'll probably play more slot than anything because, again, the double falling for the double moves is a little bit of an easier fix than overall speed to carry a vertical route. So I see a lot more with keeping him in the short kind of yardage plays Again, kind of a lesser leverage type of corner, the guy you want to have on snaps that aren't as important to the outcome of the game at first, and then you kind of just build comfortability with that. Here comes the next tier break with my number three in a tier all by himself, I might add. We have Maxwell Hairston out of Kentucky. The Usain Bolt of the class, his 4.2 840 was the fastest out of any prospect at the combine. 39.5-inch vertical, great ball hawk, fluid man and zone coverage ability with excellent footwork. He's a little lean, may present durability issues down the road. This is also one of my guys. He does have a limited ability to support in the run game, but again, the speed, the explosiveness. He is 5'11", but it's not too much of a concern to me because, again, how many receivers do you know? How many receivers do you know that are going to absolutely dunk on him when he can jump almost 40 inches in the air? There's not a lot. There's not a lot of guys. He is susceptible to quick breaks inside, but I think he can definitely be a starting outside corner in the league. That moves us to our number two. Also, may be a little bit of a hot take. These guys are kind of in the same tier. I just have one over the other. It is Travis Hunter out of Colorado. Elite receiver skills, which translates to awesome hand-eye coordination, great change of direction ability, and recovery speed when he's beat early. Good instincts, not phenomenal instincts, and composure and press coverage. Doesn't really get affected at the line very much. He is a little light, and that may struggle against catch point for bigger receivers. I don't see it being an extreme issue. Durability concerns from playing two ways, and then just kind of the lean build again, just durability. And then he can over rely on athleticism from time to time over his technique, which if you're that athletic, it's gonna pop up every now and again. Yeah, I view Travis Hunter as a better receiver than he is a corner. I want to see him moonlight more on corner and play majority of his snaps as a receiver. That moves me into my favorite prospect of the cornerback position at the cornerback position in Will Johnson out of Michigan. Best instincts in the class by far. Great length, physicality, disrupts receivers at the catch point. Great hip fluidity. Very patient. There were in 2023 he had some interceptions that where he would just pick the ball up off when it was 6 inches off the ground. We're really nitpicking weaknesses with honestly both these top two corners, but Johnson specifically. Durability, is that foot injury really a thing? We gotta kind of sit back as a team. You gotta sit back and evaluate is how big of an issue is that foot thing? Was he just sitting out because the team wasn't that great? Tackling form does need a little bit of work. He has missed some open space tackles, but that wraps up my top 10 along with some very respectable honorable mentions. Make sure to like, subscribe, and drop a comment on which position group you want to see next.